I mean, here's my question. What would disprove it?
Okay, here's
what if some piece of evidence could clinch your case, what would it be?
But the thing about the Trump years has always been, there have been many secrets, but no mysteries. The thing you had to understand is it all happened in front of your nose.
Yes, my point entirely, which was that we knew all we knew about Trump from the minute he stood before the cameras and said, Russia, if you're listening, please intervene in our domestic election on my behalf. And it fucking happened. And we saw it happen. So that's a myth. Now that's what happened. That is not a conspiracy.
But the core of our disagreement, the thing we really disagree about, is I spent some time thinking about, what do you think about this?
Well, I've been trying to think about it. We're all trying to think about how we.
No, but I've been trying to. So the core of our disagreement was, you think we lay out everything we know, and it's all because it's all psychologically in character for Trump.
It is.
Therefore, it is not, and because it all happened in public, and there are no. Therefore, what's the big story? And the big story is it all happened in public.
How could you prove it? Tell me what document, what thing could happen that you could prove it? Because it seems to me you can accuse someone indefinitely of being mysterious about ties with a foreign country. But most people regard being told that you're in league with a foreign country against this country about which you're about to be elected. Do you not understand why someone might have a response to that, which is "fuck you"? How dare you? Without evidence?
What if a candidate for president had a signed letter of intent with a foreign government that would pay him hundreds of millions of dollars if a deal went ahead, and he then lied about it on national television?
In favor of what? What would he get? What was in it for him?
Hundreds of millions of dollars of payday for him. If he had a signed letter of intent, that would be a big.
He would have to go.
Trump signed a letter of intent in November of 2015.
Well, yes, I know.
It happened.
But my point is,
yeah, we knew that.
They did know that. But this is the point, David. They absolutely did know that, and they voted for him anyway.
Okay,
and at some point in a political system, when you have to live in the same country with other people, almost as many other people, to keep accusing this president, and when you don't have any fucking solid, real evidence of him colluding with Putin. Now, you have plenty of evidence that his past is compromised in this way. But this whole notion, which was what was sold to us, is there's a secret conspiracy. And once this is revealed,
think of Jonathan Chait, who said he was actually a Soviet agent.
Once it's solved, bingo. The reality comes back to life, and Hillary still will be the next president, and this whole nightmare is over, and we, the media, will have saved the world. Now, you don't think that is part of what's going through these people's heads, and it is out of all perspective.
I'm tired of psychoanalyzing Trump voters and figuring out as they should be tired of psychoanalyzing anybody else.
It's not hard to understand.
All I'm going to say is the candidate for president of the United States had taken hundreds of millions of dollars, had taken tens of millions of dollars through a series of shady deals going back to at least 2006. He had a signed letter of intent that he would have paid him hundreds of millions of dollars had the Trump Tower Moscow happened. He lied about it. The Russians intervened to help his campaign. His campaign knew about that probably as early as April of 2016 and accepted a meeting. And all of this happened. And the fact that everything was known on voting day and people voted for him anyway doesn't make it any less of a problem. And now when you say so, there was never any kind of
problem for whom?
For this country. And the idea.
So then what you have to, at that point, if you're going to be in any way fair, you have to say what decisions were changed in return for this. What did Putin get? And substantively, it strikes me that Trump was harder on Putin than Obama.
Well,
and there is nothing that you can point to as a quid pro quo. And
that's not true.
And it's at some point, how can you? Isn't there something almost McCarthyite about demanding that someone prove his innocence, that he's not a traitor to his own country?
So
is there any limit to how long you can ask that person that when you have then a 2-year inquiry led by the best guy with the best team, and they couldn't really get the money shot there? At some point, don't you say, we've hashed this, let it go? At least let's respect the votes of our fellow citizens who voted against us and who have a right not to have the legitimacy of their president questioned from day one and treated as illegitimate in so many ways by so many parts of the media. Blah blah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm a little.
I'm
a little
feeling
stoned,
uncomfortable.
So
I just want to ask one question of both of you. David, irrespective of all the terrible things Trump did, don't you think that the media would have been better off just playing it straight and not lowering their standards and running with rumors? I just think that they kind of played into the hands.
You just triggered me.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa, you
I'm going to trigger. I
David.
have a question for you.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not going to ask
No,
it.
no,
Daniel
no.
said I can't ask it. Okay, go.
So my trigger is